Hello everyone, I'm Brofi1322 and in this video I'm going to be showing the fastest fully upgraded armoured vehicles around a circuit. This is a special edition spin-off video within my usual testing series to give an alternative view on some of the vehicles with different categorizations. If you want to know how all vehicles perform in a variety of different classes and formats, check the annotation on the screen or the link in the description for the full playlist of videos, and of course feel free to subscribe for future updates. So first up in this armoured vehicles video, we've got probably the most armoured vehicle in the game, and that is the Rhino tank. It's obviously, as you may expect, not very quick, as we saw from the military vehicles video as well. A 2 minutes 26.2 lap time isn't all that great, but you know, you don't need to be going quickly when you're driving something like this, because you're pretty much impregnable for a lot of the time. Now, the start of this video is going to contain vehicles very much like this, where it's got some vehicles that you may not have been expecting to see. Obviously those will come later on in the video, but I wanted to include all of these, such as the police riot here in 14th place, the 17th quickest emergency vehicle in the game. Obviously that 1 minute 42 lap time isn't very quick, but it's very well armoured, and I wanted to include these because they do have an extra level of armour on them, sort of above and beyond the normal stuff that you would get in a car. And if you're in free mode and you've got nothing else to protect you, these are a good option, you know. Some of these vehicles, if you can find them, they do offer a decent level of protection if it's something that you need sort of in a pinch. Same goes for the Stockade, you know, it does have a decent level of armour on it. Not quite as much as the Police Riot, but it's certainly a lot stronger than a regular vehicle, for example. 1 minute 38 for its lap time, so it's not that much quicker than the Police Riot. The third best commercial vehicle in the game as well. But obviously they're not very quick, so if you're in free roam and you're looking to get away from some people, then they're not going to probably do you that well in that respect. But if you're just trying to sort of get away from the cops or something, they can give you a good level of protection. So the police transporter here in 12th place, the 15th quickest emergency vehicle, it gets a 1 minute 30 lap time, so it's significantly quicker than what we've just seen. You can only sort of generally get it, I believe it's on 3-star wanted levels, and they appear in roadblocks and things like that. But I believe the windows there are completely bulletproof, so that's what really sort of sets the police transporter apart as a decent one to have. Now, in 11th place, we get to a sort of more standard vehicle that you may have been expecting, and that's the turreted limo. A 1 minute 20.9 is a full 10 seconds quicker than what we've just seen. It's quite nice to drive as well, and obviously it has a massive gun on the top. It's not on the pace of the very top vehicles because you can't upgrade it or anything like that. It is just a Pegasus vehicle, but you know, it can serve you well, and it does have that extra level of armour on it, which will sort of protect you or protect the people around you, especially in a VIP situation. So in 10th place, we come on to the top 10, and we've got another Pegasus vehicle with the Insurgent pickup. Slightly quicker than the turreted limo, so this is really, I think this is the quickest vehicle with a turret on it, and considering you can't upgrade it, you know, that 1 minute 19 that it gets isn't too bad. Now, I just want to sort of go over the different types of armour for the vehicles that we're about to see, because basically there's a scale. Now, on one end of the scale, you've got something like the Insurgent, which is very resistant to explosives, but it's not that resistant to bullets. You know, the windows on the Insurgent are exactly the same as the windows on any other car. They will smash straight away, and you'll be able to be shot quite easily. But it can survive, you know, 3 or 4 sticky bombs, for example. Now, on the other end of that scale, you've got something like the Kuruma, which is completely bulletproof. It's completely impregnable to any form of bullets, but one sticky bomb will destroy it. You know, that's the other end of the scale. Now, all of these cars that we're seeing right now that were introduced from the Executives DLC, that is, you know, the Cognoscenti that we just saw, the Baller LE LWB Armoured in 8th place here, and then also we'll have the Baller LE armoured version, not the long wheelbase version, just ahead of it. Those are basically in the middle of that scale of the Insurgent and the Kuruma. So they do offer a level of explosive protection, but not quite as much as the Insurgent, and they are to a certain extent quite bullet resistant, the windows, but not to the level of the Kuruma. So it's all about what you actually personally want in terms of protection. Do you want that protection from explosives, in which case you need something like an Insurgent? Do you want the protection from bullets but no protection from explosives, in which case you want something like the Kuruma? Or do you want something in the middle, like something like all of these vehicles, where they do give you that little bit of explosive protection from maybe one or two sticky bombs, but they'll also give you a little bit of bullet protection as well. Basically, the windows will shatter, they will break, but it takes a lot more bullets for that to happen. You know, it takes say 10 bullets or something. I don't know. It would take a bit of fire from the people who are shooting at you to break those windows. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, going back to the list, in 6th place we've got the Insurgent with a 1 minute 14.1, and then in 5th place we've got the Cognoscenti 5.5 armoured version with a 1 minute 14.0, so very, very close in terms of lap time at this point. Now, going back to the Insurgent is the quickest vehicle that you can choose if you want that explosive protection. It's actually really quick for, you know, given its size and given its strength. It's a very, very quick vehicle because you can upgrade it, you can store it in your garage and all that kind of stuff. It will also carry 6 people, so the Insurgent is a very, very good option in that area if that's all you need, is that sort of explosive protection. Now, the sort of new generation of armoured vehicles, you could say, we're starting to get up there now in terms of lap time, but there is one vehicle that's sort of far and away better than the rest, but we'll see that. But before that, we've got the Schafter LWB armoured version with a 1 minute 11.1. Not too bad, you know, kind of on the pace of the top sedans, like a regular Schafter, not too far off a regular Schafter. But coming into the top 3, we start to see the cream of the crop, if you like, for armoured vehicles. And first up is the Duke of Death. This might have been something that you forgot about, because I certainly did before I made this video. I hadn't included it initially. The Duke of Death is basically armoured in the same way as the Kuruma. So it was introduced for the sort of returning players on New Gen, and it is a single player only vehicle. But it's a very, very quick car. It's quite similar to the regular Dukes as well in terms of pace. A 1 minute 10.1 is a quick lap time, sort of up there at the top of the muscle cars class if it could be raised. And it's very, very strong, very, very heavy, impregnable to bullets as well, like the Kuruma. And yeah, it certainly, if you're playing single player, this is a good option to have on missions. Now, in 2nd place, we've got the Kuruma armoured version. This was not a surprise that we were going to see this sort of this far up the order. The Kuruma armoured is a great vehicle to have, you know, for heists, for regular missions, for just going around in free roam. It's very, very good. The only problem is, as I mentioned before, one explosive sticky bomb or RPG or something will destroy it, so it doesn't have resistance in that area, but any amount of bullets will not penetrate through it, so you are going to be very, very well protected, certainly on missions. And the 1 minute 9.0 lap time that it gets, although it's only 21st in a very competitive sports class, it's still very, very quick, and it's a good option to have. But ultimately, the number 1 armoured vehicle in the game is the Schafter V12 armoured version. This is the vehicle that should be in the sports class, but instead it's in the sedans class, and it's a good 4 seconds quicker than anything else in the class for racing. But it completely demolishes everything that we've seen in this video as well, with a 1 minute 6.4, a good 3 seconds quicker than the armoured version of the Kuruma. And as I mentioned before, you know, it's one of these new generation of armoured vehicles where they are slightly bullet resistant, the windows, so you're not going to die straight away from people shooting at you, and they are slightly explosive resistant as well, so they can survive maybe a sticky bomb if you end up being hit by one. But you know, they're not going to be completely impregnable, and you know, for missions the armoured Kuruma is always going to be better, and then it just depends on what kind of use you have for these vehicles, whether it's in free roam or whatever. But ultimately, the quickest vehicle in the entire game that has some extra special armor plating on it is the Schafter V12 armored version. And if that's all you want, is the quickest vehicle that is in this regard, then this is the one to go for. It's also 4-seater as well, like the Kuruma armored version, so both of those are basically the cream of the crop. And then you've also got the Insurgent back there if you want the sort of extra protection from explosives and the ability to carry 2 extra people. So I hope this video has helped make your decisions on which armoured vehicle to have, and I hope it's also been interesting as well, just, you know, going through these vehicles that you don't normally see. I really do appreciate your support as always. Leave all your thoughts down below and leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support as always, and I'll see you next time.